welcome to Team Extreme Paranormal Investigations at Mainstreamer's house. As you see, it's now very, 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 very wet and thundery. I'm doing the introduction now to show you the actual building. Museum, the oldest wraparound building actually in the whole of the United States. This is just the front porch. There's our car over there, but apart from that, you see it's very, 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 very wet. I'm trying to look on it now. This is what they call the Honour Walk. There's just there is pictures on Facebook of our memorial brick, Team Extreme Paranormal Investigations. So we have got a permanent stamp that we've always been here. And thank you to Henry Lee for suggesting that. And I paid for that in advance, and it's there now. And there you go. Nice strangers.
And then, unfortunately, it was turned into apartments, abandoned for a while, and pretty much in a very bad state. This man in the lower picture here was a local chiropractor, and he wanted to take the building and actually tear it down because he wanted the land to build an office. The woman above him, Virginia Jackson, in the 1980s said, no, this house is way too valuable. We need to turn it into a museum. He came on board and ended up actually donating about half the value of the house to the Museum Society, which enabled us to open it. And so the original house was built in 1856, as I said, by a man named John Ray. He came down from Georgia. Prior to that, the land was occupied or owned by a man, Wiggins, who got the land as a land grant in 1848, because at that time they were trying to populate Florida. It was a wilderness. And so you were able to own or get 156 acres if you lived on it for 5 years, you built some type of a home, you planted a crop, and you defended it against the Indians. He did all of that, but he moved on, and that's when he sold it to John May, who built the actual house. I'm going to set aside names and dates for a little bit and talk about this entryway. This is the original entryway and the original woodwork. As mentioned, the furniture is donated, however. These two very comfortable chairs here are lent to us by the Daughters of the Confederacy, and they're mid-1800 chairs. You're sitting in the ladies' chair here, and that's the gentleman's chair. You can see that the ladies is a little bit different. It is short. And on that side of you, you have no arm. Now, why is that? The ladies had 2 arms, so why would there be no one arm there? The dresses were so large, the hoop skirt had to be pushed to the side there. So that enabled them to be able to, otherwise you couldn't scoot in between the 2 arms of the chair.
I can honestly say when a hoop skirt, we actually did one in the Paranormal Investigation for 20 months.
Files.
I totally hated it.
Hoop skirt.
Well, dealing with ladies in their dress again, this is called a petticoat table. And so it has a mirror in the back of it. When you're descending the stairs here, the lady could check to see if their petticoat was showing underneath their skirt. And if it was showing, they had to go back up and change if that was not acceptable. In this room, we also have an organ, which is kind of roots of being here, but it was a beautiful piece that was donated. Wanted to honor it. It's actually a church organ because it has the mirror where the organist could turn or could look up and see what's going on behind him, get his cues. We have 4 sets of pocket doors in the house. This is called cross and Bible door because you can see a cross right here. And this looks like an open book here. That's the Bible part there. The floors, the ceilings, walls, all of that's original. It's just the artifacts in the house. Okay.
I got to look at that. I'll look at that organ. Go on, you go through now.
I'm just getting there. Okay.
Organ. Right.
So John May, who was the builder of this house in 1856, he was a very clever person. And one of the things that he did was create these 4 fireplaces. There's one here, there's one backing up to it in the next room, and there's 2 stacked on top in the upstairs. The reason why they're all connected is because then he only had to have 1 chimney. Because of taxes, if you only had 1 chimney, it was cheaper. And so they each had their own flues that kept it from smoking out the rest of the house. You can see that this one was designed to be a really fancy one for impressing the guests. You had a question?
Yeah, I wanted to know, like, if that picture behind us is actually the house with the 1 chimney.
It is the house that's down the street here, away a couple about half a block. That's called Saxon Manor. It ties into this house. I'll explain in a minute. So John May, who built the house, unfortunately passed away only a couple years after the house was built. His widow, Marina May, ended up about 10 years after that marrying this man, Frank Saxon. This is the later painting of him. And so she was able to hang on to the property because her in-laws were on the deed. She couldn't have owned it herself as a single woman, but they helped her out. And then she ended up marrying Frank Saxon. Unfortunately, Marina passed away during childbirth. And this is a funeral picture of her daughter, Jessie May. And it's kind of interesting to think that in the past, a parlor, the house parlor, was actually the funeral parlor because they would lay out the deceased here in your house, and you would come and honor that deceased person. As well, the picture on the right, on the piano up there, that is his wife and her funeral picture. So anyway, let me get this straight here. So Frank Saxon married Marina, the widow of John May, and she passed away in childbirth, leaving Frank a widow. So Frank married a woman named Tululu. Tululu did not want to live in this house because of the history of death here. Frank said, "That's fine, I'll build you a house as big as the number of children that we end up having." Sons, and that's the Saxon house there, and that's down the street away. It's now a wedding venue.
Oh,
But yeah,
yes.
if you drive out of town, you can see it on the left there. On the left there. The house was occupied by another family for about a 30-year period, and then in the 1900s, Dr. Stringer and his wife were prominent citizens of Brooksville. They ended up buying the house and occupying it for about 50 years, their family. Dr. Stringer had 3 children. One of them was a judge, and we do have his law books over here. And he had 2 sons and a daughter. The house, as said before, is done in period decor of how a house would have been in the 1850s. This is kind of a fun artifact right here. So if you have this one actually has sound control.
Whoa.
And you can see under here, we have a very large collection of the records that came on board. So being society people, they would have entertained here in this room, and so having something like that was a step up from, or maybe not, a step up from having somebody actually playing the piano for them. And we'll go on through to the dining room unless you have other questions in here.
I do like pocket doors.
Mm-hmm, they're really
So much
cool.
space.
Yeah. And they make so much sense with the heat and everything. Yeah. So another one of John May's clever ideas to avoid taxes was these windows over here. These windows actually roll up all the way into the wall and make a full-size door that you can step out of.
Oh, yeah.
And so it enabled him to have 2 more doors, but they weren't taxed as doors. The Stringers, who were the longest occupants of the house, were prominent Brooksville citizens, and so they probably would have entertained frequently in this room the other citizens and talking about politics and gossip and whatever of the day. That's why we have it set up for a formal dinner party here. Again, these photographs are not, and paintings are not of actual descendants of the house, but would be typical of the kind of decor somebody would have had. However, this man, James Weeks, he was a hardware store owner in Brooksville and actually president of the bank, I just found out.
Oh.
And we got one more interesting piece of music here. This is called the Amberola. This was actually before that type of Victrola there.
What is it?
And this runs on a wax
coil.
here.
Yeah, wax
It goes this way, but it still has the grooves. These would pay for 4 minutes, which was actually a pretty long time back then. And this one again actually works. Oh, I do not know the answer to it. No. That one's going a little too fast, it sounds like.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Anyway, they created, I gotta think about 1,000 of these. Yeah, yeah. And we have quite an extensive library too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, fortunate to have that. And then one more piece of music over here, because music's kind of a theme, I guess, and it helps people entertain while after dinner when they're sitting around. This is called a Thorns music box. These were popular from the 1900s all the way through the 1960s, as you can see here. And we have a large disc assortment for them. The discs, it says, are available in sets of 5 for $4 a set. So one of these would be approximately $1. But the whole thing would have cost about $50 back in the day. Yeah. $50 is a lot right now. Yeah, it's cute. And I don't know how long these played for. I don't know what they say. It's like a music box.
There is like a music box.
Yeah. Quite a pretty little sound.
Said that the kids live upstairs.
Doesn't want to turn off though. Likes to play, I guess. Come on.
I guess to just go the whole circuit first.
It will turn off. It's just not behaving right now.
Because he knows we're here.
I got it.
There we go. This door would have been an exterior door because interior stairs were another taxable item. There are some stairs right behind here but because there would have been a door here, that would have been considered exterior. You're going to go up the exterior stairs to the upstairs, and then eventually you'll make your way back down for the rest of the downstairs tour. Questions in this one? All right, steep stairs here.
Come.
And that's another door step. Who's going to take you through up there?
And he also got newspapers from all over the United States. And when he passed away, his son and grandson found hundreds and hundreds of these, and he donated some to us and some to, I'm sure, to the libraries. The first one down there is the Titanic. So if you're interested, you guys can switch around, see which one you want to see. The first one's the Titanic. The second one's Lincoln's assassination. This one's McKinley's assassination. This one's my favorite because I'm from Connecticut, and it's the snow of 1888 that closed down New York City, New York. And it's always good back when kids don't have to go to school, right?
Right, yeah.
Especially in 1888. There's no snow plows either.
Right, yeah.
So over here they have Napoleon, and over here is a ship called the Maine that got blown up by a Spanish bomb. I did newspapers for 14 years of my life, and I never saw print any this small. But when back then they used to put the print backwards, and then they would have to hold it to see if everything was spelled correctly and everything.
There we go, right.
Okay, this was the master bedroom, and the first thing we talked about was original to this room. If you look at this window and this window and kind of like sway back and forth, it feels like you're doing something from the 60s that you shouldn't be doing. Because you get a wave, you feel like you're on a ship or something, there's a wave. And if you look at the window over there on the left, it doesn't do that, so that would be like replacement glass. So the windows back then. So back then they didn't have screens in the windows. It was just the glass as you see here. So they would have had a bed like this, a canopy bed, and this one's made out of mahogany, and 6 football players supposedly brought it, 6 to 8 football players brought it upstairs. Because it's solid wood. I mean, you don't hear no. So, but they would have had a mosquito net over it, and the windows would have been open, and I don't know if you're ever outside around at nighttime in Florida. I clean parking lots at night, and you have bugs hitting you in the head from nowhere, right? Yeah. So they would have had a mosquito net to keep the bugs off of them. And then in the winter time, since there's no heater or no fireplace in here, they would have had a blanket or drapes going around it to keep the heat in, hot water, and put that under the covers too. This is all handmade crochet blanket, and the shirts used to have removable collars. And hat boxes back then, nicer than our women ones, right? Nice women one. And anybody that would like to make me one, I'd be happy because I could probably fit 60 baseball caps in there.
There you go, yeah, stack them correctly.
Yeah,
sure.
And snack them, then you don't have to see them all over the house.
Right.
And and then you can have a nice box, and you can even have a nice engraving.
Yeah.
I'd buy it. Somebody wants to make me one. Yeah. So, I mean, you could sell them at flea markets around Nottingham. I'm sure women would be buying them like crazy for their men's hats. Yeah. But anyway, back then we had keyholes in the dressers, so if you traveled to Tampa or something, and you went back, down to Tampa in the horse and buggy, would have been the drapes and the blankets and the clothing, because back then when they first moved here, they didn't have Walmarts and stuff to go buy stuff. They would have to have it all shipped in from Europe and New York and stuff like that. So they would have packed up all their clothes and stuff. I mean, I'm sure they threw some jewelry and some silver in there too, between the blankets. But they all had keyholes. We don't have no keyholes in our dressers anymore, do we? No. We have locks on the doors. Yeah, locks on the doors. Yeah. And safes in the walls.
Right.
So, and this is something from our childhood that you're going to get a thrill out of. What's on the bed is It's a unisex bathing suit. It's men's and women's. And the suits are made out of wool. I give you a guess what that's made out of. Everybody thinks it's made out of jeans, but that's made out of wool. Wool. It's bad enough going to the beach and having sand in your bathing suit. Now you got wool too. Wool too. And over here we have made out of velvet. And then we have shoes that they wore back in the days. They said women had smaller feet, just like I'm going for you guys' shoes. You can only get your foot from here to here, right? Look how skinny it is. And they said, well, men like small feet back then. That's why I'm taking the men's shoes. And the only thing, you might have to bind your toes, to get them in there, or you might have to shave a couple of them. I mean,
look at my feet. Yeah, I wear size 11, so I couldn't.
I mean, they said, well, women have smaller feet. I mean,
that's teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's 28 and she has a size 2.
UK, yeah.
Okay.
Just the same as pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And it's very slender too.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
they think you talk English and you don't. Even English is different from country to country. So anyway, this was a bedroom at one time. And December 15, 1978, the phone company gave up the phone operators, and all this equipment was donated to the house. So we decided to make a whole room of communication. So everybody here knows how to dial a regular phone, right? So anyway. So this is what happens when you dial a phone way back when. All these things make all the noise. Remember you heard clicking? I don't know if they had same over in England.
Same system, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you know how.
Oh no, in the UK, it said that it stops at the 9, so if you're in a fire and it's the dark, bring it round and you can do 999, just equivalent to 911. So that you know that you've got the right number.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So, yep. Again, things could be the same but different, right? So this is the switchboards that they had up in Brooksville that got taken out. I don't know if you've ever watched Laugh-In the UK.
What's that?
Laugh-In, the show Laugh-In. Well, they had a show here where they had sketch where there was a phone operator going 1 ding-a-ling, 2 ding-a-lings because we had party lines. But I don't know if you guys had party lines way back then. But anyway, so this would have been the local phone operator. And this would have been the long distance. So if she was calling from Brooksville, from Hernando County, and you wanted to call like Miami or something, this would be the phone that would have to pick it up. And the one over there is the overseas switchboard. So for a call, just think, we were calling you guys from England, we would have to go from this switchboard to this switchboard, and then we'd have to go all the way over to that switchboard, so we'd be sitting there going, listening to music all day, right? And if you know anybody that was from Hernando County in the 70s, if you can find their phone numbers in these books, if you know people from the 70s, where are you originally from?
Illinois, Southern Illinois originally, but we've been here 15 years. He's been here longer.
I've been here for about 23 years.
I've been here since 2001, too long.
Oh, that's
Again, I'm from Connecticut.
That's actually the same year. I was here, immigrated here about 2000, 2001.
But I've been cleaning parking lots, and it's just way, way too hot.
Oh yeah.
And I've been dreaming for snow, wishing for snow. Anyway, this came out of the high school in 1940 at Hernando High School, this nice wooden phone booth. I've never seen one. I don't know if you guys have wooden ones. I know you have the red ones, and you don't have that in the UK.
We don't, they went a long time ago.
Yeah, but this is 1940, and this is what they had back in the 1940s in the United States. And it's a great photo op time. You can come over here and go, hey, you get your photo, take it to one of these old phone booths, because how often you going to see one of these phone booths? Not too often. So if anybody wants to take a picture while I'm still talking, go jump in there and get your picture taken. And and it's not for fingers. That's all our equipment, they had all in one machine.
Yeah.
Didn't know it, you know? What's right here? That's a closet.
Oh, okay.
And that's the balcony. Yes, it's very short. They said people were short back there. But we have a couple more things to go in this room. We have a teletype machine that's sort of like, oh, we can move into the next room.
There we go.
Sorry, second in the back.
Oh, and then it's double-sided.
And
Okay.
here's the
Next to the glass.
right next door. So this was the baby's room, and the mother would stay with the babies. We got some old gloves, if anybody's interested in baseball. And then we have some tin soldiers that we used to have as kids, made out of what? Lead.
Oh.
Painted with what?
Lead.
And what did we do with them?
Chew on
Put them in the bag.
Yeah. So, and we're okay, as far as I think, right? But we're not too okay because they came up with this crazy doll, a topsy-turvy doll. That doll, yeah, it's
Oh,
with
Lord.
2 heads. It used to have a skirt, I guess, and its skirt would go, like when the baby, when you were awake, it would go like the closed eyes side, and then it would flip over. I know when I was growing up, I had a doll, you sat up, the eyes open, you lay it down, the eyes
Yeah, I know
closed.
one of those.
So it's sort of the same thing, but the dress
Creepier.
creepier.
Siamese twins.
Yeah, right? And weird experience.
Conjoined twins.
I'm gonna go this way.
Oh, but
I'm not gonna cut into the floor there. A husband made this for his wife because she always wanted a house of, a doll house of her home that she had grown up in. But this one's 100 years old, and it's made out of porcelain and glass eyes. And this one's about 120 years old. Shoot this way. You get a better shot.
okay.
And it's porcelain.
Underneath the.
Underneath the glass.
Come here, down here. And this one's porcelain with glass eyes. And this one is the most loved baby of all of time. And this baby is older than this house. And this baby is older than early 1800s. Because the house was built in 1855. So this doll was made before that, and it's made out of paper mache.
Oh, wow.
With glass eyes.
Well, surprised that it's lasted that long with kids, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's why I said this baby was truly loved. The regular bed. But back then, everybody knows about spring cleaning. I don't know if you guys had spring cleaning.
Yeah.
But spring cleaning became where you clean your closet out and got rid of your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, the potty chair, commode, so that's a nice one. Over here we have a crib from the late 18, early 1900, and it's got hinges up here and down here, like you can fold it up and travel with it.
Oh, that's cool.
From the late 18, early 1900.
Like a toddler bed, isn't it?
Yeah, toddlers. That's a beautiful needlepoint from 1867, and you can see bright colors are still up there on that needlepoint. But from 1867, that's got beautiful work. And those are, the windows and those doors are original. And then we got some baby dresses. A girl from Bushnell made the baby dresses at 10 years old. Her name was Gertrude. And she made baby dresses. And then when she got older, she got to use a sewing machine. So she probably became a seamstress. But if you want, we're going to head upstairs to the attic. So I'll let you guys start going up.
I'll let you go first.
The attic. And everything about all this, if you guys are big into all this.
yeah.
So, and they think they had servants and slaves, and they would have been this would have been where they ate, or they just mingled and say, hey, how's your day, and everything, stuff like that. But they think they slept in here. And I tried to knock. I tried to be nice, because I don't know how much you know, but we have some. So you can smell that wood. This is all cedar. Florida wouldn't let us insure it, and without putting aluminum up there, metal. And over here,
It's pretty
way over here, but we have the attic has a balcony, so that's why we thought, you know, we know people slept up here, you know, was up here a lot, so we got a balcony out both windows. Do you know Kinder Spirits? Show Kinder Spirits?
Kindred Spirit, I've heard that now.
Well, this trunk is on the show, and if somebody left this trunk, it's 1890 trunk, and it's entertainer's trunk, you know, for people that entertain, you know, comedians and stuff, dancers. This has got a mirror. See, these are regular trunks. You see how short it is compared to this? Yeah, so they have the makeup and everything. They have the table back here so they can eat it. But his name is Gary. And Gary. So he makes operations after they went to one, but that's the oldest picture of her. And she was a witch. He likes a lot of things. So, yeah. Well, there's that guy. And then we have 3 more doll houses over here. And we got lots more arrowheads, more Native American stuff.
That was not like dressmaking.
Yeah. Yeah. But we got 3 more. What they putting up here? They got a bunch of boxes of wood. What are they doing to me? They're making me walk the skinny thing. What they doing? What they doing? So anyway, we got 3 more houses over here. We got a log cabin, we got a stone house, and we got one with pine. They got pine cones, pieces of pine cone for the roof. That's what it looks like in English house, huh? So,
Maybe in like Shakespeare sort of thing.
this looks more like the one with the witch and the kids.
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel house. But we got a nice log cabin. And we have a sock monkey. I don't know who had a sock monkey. I had a sock monkey. I had 2 sock monkeys when I was a kid. I couldn't wait to get rid of them.
Question. I actually don't know the history of the house. History of the house. History of the house. I mean, I've heard like a little bit, but I don't really know a whole lot about like what happened here.
Well, we have ghost tours on Fridays and stuff like that, so you can always come back for a ghost tour.
Okay.
But yes, we have a lot. There's been a lot of number one, a few people like, you know, like she said, Jessie May passed away here. Her mother passed away here. Her father passed away here. You know, so there's been John May passed, so there's a lot of spirits here.
Okay.
And then we get a lot of old stuff. This old stuff carries spirits sometimes, memories and stuff. So we do have a lot of spirits, but they don't seem to bother me.
Okay.
Because I have my own Toyota Supra that had my own ghost for 10 years.
Oh, really?
That would bother everybody that sat in my car. But, you know, they're pretty cool. I mean, if you don't want them to follow you, just when you leave, you tell them you need to stay here. This is where you belong, and that way nothing, you know, follows you. And then if you want a spooky picture,
Oh, I'd take a picture of that over there.
look over here.
Were you picking up something from over
Did you
there?
guys
Yeah.
over here?
That.
Take a picture. You can't go in there. You go over here. Oh, geez. Take a picture in there.
It's unbelievable. That's the house I've ever known. I'm nowhere near electric.
Yes. We got 3 more rooms to go downstairs. So,
We had a demo chair that was donated. Luckily, we don't have those anymore that look like that. Next to it is it was a rocking chair, and it when he needed to have a wheelchair, they just put carriage wheels on the rocking chair. So that was how we got that. There's up here on the wall, Dr. Stringer went to Tulane University in New Orleans. So that's a copy of his diploma. over here, oops, I'm sorry. I'll go around this direction. This is a Civil War wheelchair. So it's over 150 years old. And you can see it's quite crude. And then there were crutches that would be used, for people who needed to use crutches. Dr. Stringer was known because he traveled around the United States to talk about incubators for premature babies. So this was an early incubator. So if a baby needed, to be kept warm, or just it helped with their survival. So he went around the United States with that, and he also was an advocate for sterilization of instruments and things, so that people wouldn't get sick. This is all veterinary equipment, and of course this area has cattle and horses and everyday things like goats and cows and so forth. The next part of this display is an eye doctor, and he wasn't just the eye doctor, but he was the town jeweler. He would make jewelry too. Yes, and that's all doctor's equipment and things that he used. They had different charges for different treatments and so forth. Like he actually went out into the country or in town and for doctor appointments. So people would come here, but also he would make house calls.
Charge extra for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if he went out in the country, it was like so much per mile, and then up until 9 o'clock it went up to $1.50 a mile, and then if it was after he'd gone to bed, it was $3 a mile.
Wow, which is a lot for the time.
It is a lot. The interesting thing that I find on this, because this is from 1850, which is before the Civil War, is that he would charge $10 to certify that a Negro slave was healthy to be sold. So that was part of the doctor's what he would do also. The thing next to you, be careful of that little chair. I trip over it all the time. That's called an autoclave, and they use steam to sterilize. Exactly. And up on the wall is what the original hospital was like here in Roseville. It's not there anymore. They've built a couple different ones, and then they have a couple of operating tables from the hospital. They were able to save I know, exactly. And they don't look comfortable.
Stirrups.
What is that picture of the body over there?
You know what? That's called a surgical button. And I need to look it up, but I have a feeling it's like when they had surgery to keep the skin, kind of
Pinned down?
Pinned down. This was very dangerous. This was an open air X-ray machine, so all of the radiation would also affect.
I've just started training to take X-rays.
Oh, you did? Okay. And then the barber was kind of interesting. He didn't just cut hair. He would do stitches, he'd pull teeth, and also, like, if they use leeches to bleed on the skin, he would do that too. So he was a jack of all trades. Down here we have a respirator for breathing. But yeah, you can see the cup that he would use to get the shaving cream. And then, does anyone know what this cup is?
So what, the brush on?
No, that's that one.
Oh, so it wouldn't get your mustache wet?
Mustache. It's a mustache cup. So, in those days too, they would put wax and do all kinds of stuff. So this protected their mustache.
Like the sippy cup for growing out the mustache.
Exactly.
I never knew such a man. I never knew such a man.
So it's funny, all the people that have mustaches don't know what that is. We're gonna head out. Is there any questions? And so what they have in here is some Civil War artifacts and a lot of uniforms from current uniforms. If there's a picture in front of the uniform, that means that person wore the uniform. We have Coast Guard, Navy, so forth. This is our oldest artifact. This is from 1600. It's a cannon, probably from a Spanish ship, because out of Bayport, that's where the port was. So all the cattle and everything had to be shipped out to the Gulf, to be taken out to other areas of the country. This is called the Stars and Bars. I know.
There's a look at the sun, isn't it? And then there's that hammer.
Exactly. I know, and it's so heavy. I mean, you can't even begin to move it. But this is what's called the Stars and Bars. This was a Confederate flag. Behind you is also a Confederate flag.
Yeah. No.
It was actually, it's a replica. This is the real flag, and it's in a museum in Richmond, Virginia. So you can see there are many different types of Confederate flags. They just mainly didn't want to get confused with the Union soldiers.
So, is that the Union?
This is actually West Point, which is the United States Military Academy.
Same as Sundays.
In
UK.
no, it's Army.
Oh.
Actually, my son went there.
Oh wow, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah,
It's very difficult to get in, isn't it?
It is. And so when they would do parades, this was the type of uniform they would wear. Now this one is the Army Air Corps, which was what they had before the Air Force. So it was the Army had all the planes and so forth. And then next to that is an Air Force uniform, also a woman's uniform.
So putties. I had that when I first joined the military.
What's
you put them out, that thing that's round up.
Oh yeah, what is that?
So you put it round the bottom of your trousers.
Oh,
You have the little short boots, and then you put it round the bottom of your trousers.
to hold it.
Yes.
Oh, for heaven's sake. So you probably know what a lot of this is. This is also Army Air Corps, but this is my favorite. This is World War One. So, that's
cartoon,
1917 or so forth.
14,
This shows the man in the uniform. You could see their leggings. So we have the boots and some leggings down here. Over there in the corner, we have a gas mask for a horse and for a person.
That's no good, I guess, going into battle if your horse collapses underneath you, isn't it?
Exactly. It wouldn't work very well. The middle hat is an actual Confederate hat. So the other two are just, I know, it's interesting that it survived all this time. And these are things they found in the area. Hernando County has a lot of artifacts that they get a metal detector and find all these things. And in the corner, Dr. Stringer was recruited as a surgeon during the Civil War. And that's an example of a surgeon's kit. You can see
them a swig of whiskey. So.
Exactly, and saw for the amputations, and they have probes for the bullets and things that they would find.
Washing machine.
Yep.
We have a couple of different washing machines. The one with the Maytag, they used to guarantee their washing machines for life. So if you had, I know it's unbelievable, but if it would break, they actually would repair it for you.
Does it get 5 years guarantee?
We're lucky, yeah.
The guy doesn't know the washing machines. I don't know if there's any paperwork there that you can. I told him to look online too.
Yeah,
I thought Emma was here, and I guess she's not.
No, she's coming back.
But they wanted to know information, so.
Okay.
Quaker Oats is still going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quaker Oats are still going strong.
This, well, I was going to finish on the Maytag. She bought it in the 1920s, and she wrote the letter in the 1970s that it was still working. She said, washes clothes as well as ever.
Wow.
And so they switched it from a gasoline motor to an electric motor, and they still were using it. So it was built to last.
Don't we have one?
This is what we call a Hoosier. And a Hoosier is of course Indiana. It's the Hoosier state, and this is a special thing that would be in kitchens. Up here it says it saved steps, and it did, because everything you needed to make your dough or any type of meal was just right here. This was where the flour would be, so you would just use your cup and do this for the flour, same thing for the sugar, and this was all your spices. So everything was right condensed. They didn't have like big counters and cabinets and things like that. This also had a cutting board, and it has a bread box, and then of course you can have pots and pans and utensils.
Does the counter pull out?
Meat grinder. Pardon?
Does the counter move in and out?
Yes, yes. And then at the end of the day, you could just close everything up and be all ready for the next day. This would actually close, and so everything could be put away. Kept them nice.
That's cute. It's like a Welsh dresser, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what a pantry would have been like. Except we have a lot of things stored in there. Just, we didn't have another place to put it.
Would have been your food.
But of course, they did a lot of canning with the canning jar, so they would have had their all their canning, the vegetables and fruits, whatever they canned would be in there. This is a replica of what the sink would have been like in this particular kitchen. This has a pump right here because it went down to a cistern. Instead of having to go out to a well or pump water outside, we were actually able to do it inside. So that saved a lot of time. Underneath here we have a wooden bucket and a big crock where they probably used it for sauerkraut or pickles or whatever. We have a butter churn there. You've probably seen some of those in movies, they would churn the cream to turn it into butter. And next to that, we have my favorite washing machine. This one is all hand operated. And when we do this, it moves the agitator around inside. So you can see. And it has two dents and two dents here. So you can imagine how much they must have put that back and forth over and over again. So you got your exercise. You didn't have to worry about any going to the gym. Right. And of course ringers, because you wanted to get as